Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called I flew to Spain to see if their food is actually better. So I'm going to bet on Jess. How lucky to be able to go to Europe to check if the food is actually better. I think chances are Jess, food is actually better. I'm going to guess also in comparison the comparison is with the US. But yes, I'm gonna bet they have more variety, and just because the other is a continent and the US is just one country, just by comparison of size, well, yeah, of course the food is gonna be better. And that's not even getting into the quality and other things. But let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
We are going to Europe. We're going to Spain.
Okay, so it's Spain. Specifically, only there apparently, and they have great food. So yes, of course, you're gonna have like the greatest time over there. Oh, it's specifically.
I have heard that in Europe the food is healthier, and that in Europe no one is obese, no one is fat, no one is sick. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Of course, there are obese and fat people everywhere. That's not necessarily tied to the US, but maybe healthier. I don't know. I don't know the statistics.
But I've heard that in Europe, everything is different with the food. So I'm gonna go to Europe and figure out what's different about the food in Europe versus the food in the States.
Less processed.
Because obviously in the US, we are super unhealthy and our food here is super toxic, and we hear everyone talking about all of these horrible ingredients in our food that have gotten through the GRAS standards, the generally recognized as safe standards from the FDA and all this bullshit. So I'm gonna go to some markets in Europe.
I've never heard of the GRAS thing, but makes sense. GRAS is in grass-fed, no, GRAS is in, okay, I get it.
Gonna go find some cheese and some raw milk in Europe. And I'm gonna go see if people are actually healthier in Europe or if it's all a scam. I'm flying to Mallorca. So if you're gonna go to Europe, you might as well go somewhere beautiful and blue water. My circadian rhythm is about
half of Europe is beautiful. Well, almost all of Europe. So I don't know. Take a guess, whatever you want to.
To get completely destroyed, but I'm gonna fix that too. And I've got a bunch of food for the flight. Let me show you guys what I got for this flight. I have squash and cucumber. It looks gross. I got peaches. I got plums. Meat that I cooked yesterday. That is honeydew melon in glass. We've got a huge thing of berries. And of course, we've got Lineage meat sticks. That's about it. Super important hack is that when you have a bag and it's all food like this, it doesn't count as a carry-on bag.
Really?
So I could actually bring 2 bags with me on this plane and this. I'm not gonna eat anything on this.
Yes, I was about to ask, are you able to pass that many food in a flight? Because a snack or maybe a meal, I don't think they care. But you're literally having several meals worth. Apparently they don't care. I don't know. I would check. I think it depends on the airline. Something like Ryanair would probably be, no, absolutely not. This is it waits. Like, no, that's your carry-on bag.
This plane. I just don't do that. If you have any questions about why Americans are fat, sick, and unhealthy, look at the food options here. You got Chick-fil-A. Okay,
I'm sorry, but at an airport, at a flight, it's not the reality. You're not constantly getting on flights every single day of your life. It's okay. Once in a while, you can have airplane food, which I know it's a little gross, but whatever. You can have fast food every once in a while. Who cares?
Cooked in seed oils with processed sugars. Burger 21, I'm almost positive that's cooked in seed oils. New York pizza.
Yeah, but it's just one time.
Processed grains, seed oils. Starbucks, which has a bunch of garbage stuff that's going to be processed sugar and processed flour and seed oils. And Payway, which is probably the most seed oils you're ever going to find in any one place because everything is deep fried in seed oils. Sugar, pornography. I don't even think these things existed anymore. Pure sugar plus synthetic petroleum derived food dyes. That's got to be good for your gut. This is like the new probiotic, guys. Just super bad lollipops. This is the genesis, or one of the genesises of dysbiosis. This is what contributes to SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
They have a Dylan's candy bar, and I'm so, oh, that seems like very fun. Again, not every day of your life, but I think it's fun for, I don't know, a trip.
Eating fruit is different because all the polyphenolic compounds in the fruit prevent overgrowth of the bad bacteria. They've seen this in studies. When you eat this stuff, it literally releases inflammatory mediators in your body, lipopolysaccharide, endotoxin, from the gram-negative bacterial overgrowth in your gut. So basically, this is not surprising. We're still in the United States. This is a nightmare for your gut. Across the street is this map that leads you to a nightmare for your metabolism with all the seed oil-filled restaurants. We're gonna go see if Europe is any different or if it's just a scam. Maybe people in Europe are just as unhealthy. I sure hope not, because we're not doing so good in the States. I'm gonna get one of these.
Also, I think it's a bit of a difference because sometimes unhealthy doesn't equal fat or thin. So I think it's a little bit of, I think people tend to correlate both of them. Oh, you see someone fat and you think, oh, they're unhealthy, but not always and not usually. And sometimes you can see someone that's very thin, but they're not healthy. So it just depends on what your measure is of your measure of health is. So have you actually looked at the blood work or something? It's not about how the body looks like.
Oh, you're still filming? We're gonna have to cut this out. Why are there no gyms in airports? Why?
Okay, so ultimately he ended up getting the lollipop.
Why is there not a pull-up bar right there on the wall? We have all these people just sitting around in airports, waiting for their flights, eating garbage food. Why doesn't every airport not have a free gym? A pull-up bar, even some like squat machines. You don't even need to have like free weights.
That's a little crazy. I'm all for living healthy lives and being more active and working out, whether that's at a gym or outside. But I think at an airport seems a little extreme. You wouldn't want to get all sweaty, and besides, you have a different mindset. You're probably thinking, no, I'm just about my flight. I'm not thinking about, oh, I have to work out. That seems a little extreme to me.
Kill for a pull-up bar right now. They have places in airports where dogs can go pee, but they don't have a pull-up bar for me.
Yeah, because there's a necessity for animals. No, you don't need to work out. You could work out earlier before your flight or after you got off your flight.
What's up, guys? We made it to Spain. This store is crazy. It's kind of like a garage. All right, so
it's beautiful.
Jet lagged as heck.
Yeah.
Gonna go to the grocery store and look and see how Spanish food is compared to the US in the grocery store.
Delicious.
Gonna go to restaurants while we're here and see what restaurants serve. Before I take you guys to the grocery store, I wanna show you guys this Airbnb. You gotta see where I'm staying. This is pretty cool. Come on. So I don't know how they do this. Like you enter, the door to enter is like medieval and you come in through the laundry room, but come on. So look at this. This is like what Spain is about.
It's gorgeous.
In case you were wondering, one of the best ways to align your circadian rhythm when you're crossing all these time zones is to get in the ocean, get in the sun, obviously. So I've already done a bunch of swimming this afternoon. Let's go to the grocery store, but yeah, Mallorca. This is crazy.
It's beautiful.
A little supermarket in Sant Elm in Mallorca. You can see the view out there is not bad.
Not bad.
And
Understatement of the century.
On the street, they're advertising some interesting seeds.
Okay.
Special types of melons, cannabis. Okay, yeah. We have the sexy women pepper.
Yeah, why is the pepper?
Well,
okay.
Anyway, let's go in the store and see what we can find in here. They've got like normal junk food, ice cream, garbage sunscreen, garbage Coca-Cola, Red Bull.
What's with the garbage sunscreen? Why is it garbage? Hold on, what?
Beer, nothing super exciting here, kind of like the States.
Yeah.
So this is a digestive biscuit with orange. We have oat flakes, wheat flour, vegetable oil, high oleic sunflower oil, so definitely seed oils, 18% sugar, 5% wheat bran, oligofructose, glucose fructose syrup, fruit, salt,
That's so good.
and flavor.
2 hours later.
Glucose syrup, glycol sugar, wheat fiber, gelling agent, which is pectin, acidity regulator, citric acid, natural
so
orange
many
flavor, coloring is curcumin. They don't have any food dyes in here. Raising agents, sodium, hydrogen. Maybe
Yeah, Europe is pretty big on banning dyes, right?
20% better than the States in terms of garbage ingredients. Still not awesome. What I'm really curious about is how they make bread. How much of these people are eating versus the staples. Like, are the staple foods better? Is the bread here different? Pretty sure all this is going to be the same.
Yeah.
That's not something you see in the States.
It's, junk food, it's the same everywhere. Yeah, it's junk food for a reason.
Not something I would eat, but it's like a preserved pork sausage. I feel like the cheese is better than you'd find at like a ranch.
It's cured meats, and Spain is pretty big on their meats and cured, specifically cured hams, so it doesn't surprise me.
Some small little market in the States, you got Grana Padano, which is raw cheese.
Yeah.
So you can find a raw cheese in like any grocery
Is it raw? I had no idea. I know it's an Italian cheese, but I had no idea it was raw.
store. They've got some fake butter, but then they've got like real
Fake butter.
butter here. So they've got like some high quality butter, some high quality cheese.
Not carry
Don't know
holes.
if we're gonna be able to find any water in glass. Apples, apricots, peaches, plums, avocado,
Yeah, normal.
tomato, cucumber, I have no idea if any of this is organic. Probably not. We're just basically finding whatever's on the street. So we're going to keep looking. I'm not.
Yeah, I think it depends. Especially, I'm just, it's a small island. I don't really think you're gonna get the whole, oh, this is the organic section. I think chances are it's not happening. No, that's not a thing. Although I don't know. Like, I would assume maybe it is organic. No, actually, I have no idea. But I don't think you're gonna get those. And specifically, I think you're not gonna get those at a supermarket. I think if you want organic produce, I think you should go for the open door markets or the street markets. That's what I would do.
Terribly impressed so far, but they did have a little bit of decent butter and cheese. So that grocery store was a miss. Grocery stores so far are pretty bad here, actually. Like I would say worse than the United States. No organic options, not great meat at all.
Also, okay, hold on. I think it also depends because depending on where you are in the U.S., you're not gonna get you're probably gonna get the exact same thing. Those organic options only exist at some chains, in some cities in the U.S., but there are places where you just do not get any organic anything. So I would say it's part of the course, actually.
So I might need to find like an actual butcher and an actual market. There's a market tomorrow that hopefully I'm gonna try and go to or something, but.
Oh, look, this apparently is an organic store, apparently, so wouldn't you know?
I found this place, which supposedly has like organic food, so let's see. This is better. At least we've got organic produce here. This is the best produce I've seen so far. So we got apples.
And still, I would bet the ones at the market are probably better.
Kiwi, avocado, mango. We're very far from the tropics. Got some melon. I'll get some of that.
I don't know. Can you get mangoes in Spain? It's hot, and they're Mallorca. It's hot. I would assume mangoes would do well. It's when you're planting a mango tree in a hot environment. I would assume it's gonna give you mangoes, right? I don't know. I don't know anything about agriculture.
And got some dates. Yeah, this is the best I've found so far. But
go for the bananas.
We got blueberries in there. There's some meat over here. So I had to find like come on back here. Can't film? All right, guys, let me show you my grocery haul in here. We got grass-fed beef, melons, squash, strawberries, organic, best eggs I could find. Those are not for me. Blueberries, bananas, apples, juice, best yogurt we could find, water in glass. Looks like a raw cheese. I got some more steaks down here.
Okay, yeah, it was forbidden. I'm wondering why. A lot of olive oil, of course. You didn't get olive oil? And tomatoes?
So after finding like a small supermarket in Sant Elm, which was horrible yesterday, we went to a little market that was organic, that had some good stuff. And now I'm in Palma, so I'm in the capital of Mallorca, in like the nicest big grocery store, and we ended up in like ham heaven. And apparently ham is like a big deal in Spain.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to decipher this wall of pig legs. There are different things to consider here. I won't burden you guys with all of it, but we've got Iberico ham.
Yes.
Which is the nicest ham. And there's
correct.
Ham that's fed bellota, which is acorns.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pronounce that.
No, it is.
And then there's cebo, which is fed grains. So the bellota is apparently the nice.
That's the famous one. Yeah, that's the one that the chestnut one. That's the famous one.
Stuff. And some of these legs over $400. So you can see this down here.
Expensive.
345 euros for this leg of lamb.
It is.
Capa negra. This is 100.
I'm pretty sure they also have the thing, the what is called the DOP. I'm pretty sure they well, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure they do have the DOP, and that's why it's so expensive. It's because it's certified and it's one specific ham, and you only get those there. And it's one. Well, I think the pigs. I don't know if the pigs are different breeds, but they're fed specifically this, and that's why they have the DOP, and that's why they taste different and whatever.
% Iberico.
But it makes sense that yes, it's going to cost you because it's a specialty product. It's not something that you would get anywhere, basically.
Oh, and it's only fed acorns, the bellota. So this is like the nicest
acorns, not chestnuts.
one in the store. I'm tempted to buy that. What I'm gonna do is get some smaller packages.
Yes.
I found some.
Yeah, you can get the smaller packages. You don't need to get the whole leg. You can just get, they'll cut this up for you. And if you're at a bar or something, they'll cut this. It's not, oh, I'm gonna have to carry a whole ham leg that cost me 500 euros. No, you can get the smaller pieces.
Organic prosciutto, 100% Iberico. I don't know if it's fed grains or Eggcorns. Hopefully it's Eggcorns. That's the nicer stuff. And
Yeah,
this
they'll
is
tell
a
you.
small package. They're super expensive, but when in Spain, you gotta try it.
Correct.
And I
Exactly.
generally don't like pork because it's always fed grains, and those grains are full of glyphosate. The grains increase the amount of
I'm sorry, but living his life must be crazy. You're constantly worrying. I think, well, I don't know. It just depends. Sometimes you're a little worried about what you should definitely be aware of what you're putting in your mouth and your diet. That seems, I don't know, this seems a little extreme to me.
linoleic acid in the fat of the pigs. But when in Spain, I think I have to try
Yes.
probably the best prosciutto in the world. And I'm gonna start with these
No, I think prosciutto, you would get that in Italy, but Iberico ham, yeah, you would get that in Spain.
and go from there. And also, I found in this grocery store some organic butter.
Okay.
Bio is like the equivalent of organic in the
Yeah.
States. And it's funny because they have a Nutri-Score on the butter. And this gets the lowest rating.
Oh.
Apparently in Spain, they're kind of woke when it comes to nutrition. I would say butter is one of the most uniquely nutritious things on the planet. Stearic acid, a healthy saturated fat. You've got fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin K2 is going to be rich in fat. We know that vitamin K2 consumption is associated with lower rates of cardiovascular disease.
Oh,
in
good.
Observational studies like the Rotterdam study. I guess in the States we have F, but this is the lowest. This gets an F for nutrition according to Spain. I'm going to give butter an A. I haven't seen the...
I love that he's like, I'm just going to ignore this. I think it depends. I think Spanish people tend to cook and deep fry a lot of, when it's deep fried, and they tend to use a lot of olive oil in cooking. So I think maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
ratings of other foods here, but I'm curious what they rate A.
Because they use, I think that's the difference, because they, instead of using butter for the fat component in a meal or in a dish, I think they're going to use olive oil, and that's probably what the difference is. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here.
I think I'm really going to have to go to a market and find the good quality stuff to see how things are really different. But at least, I mean, in Spain, like, they love their freaking meat. This is
Yes.
great. Okay, guys,
They're
so
famous
it's
for
been
it.
a little bit disappointing thus far with food in Spain. I want to find some artisanal stuff. So I'm trying
Yes.
to find this raw cheese and raw milk place, which I'm excited about.
The raw milk, it scares me. Not gonna lie, it scares me a lot.
And it's out here. It's called Formattages. It sounds French, Spanish. I'm butchering it. Borghera.
Yeah, is it
so I'm going to
fromage?
show you guys that.
That's
We're going to
French.
try and find some actual artisanal raw milk and raw cheese. One of the
Yeah.
things that's interesting that I figured out doing some research is that the obesity rate in Spain is much lower than the United States. In the United States, we are super, super fat. 42% obesity in the United States.
Wow.
Across Europe, rates of obesity are much lower. In Spain, it's like 19% obesity. So like half
Okay.
of what we have in the States. But the rates of diabetes in Spain are the same as what we have in States. And I think that the
Okay.
rates of diabetes in the US and in Spain are underestimated because of the diet.
See what I mean? That doesn't necessarily, people are thinner, but that doesn't necessarily mean they don't have any underlying health conditions, because in order to be healthy and a healthy person, I think it involves more than just if they are obese or not.
Diagnosis is lagging. I think a lot of people that are obese probably have some degree of pre-diabetes, but Spain is 10 to 15% diabetes, and the US is kind of about the same. So even though we're much more fat in the US, the rate of diabetes is the same in Spain,
Yeah.
which is just to say that there's plenty of garbage food even in Spain, on Mallorca, in Europe. And I see that in grocery stores. I see plenty of processed sugar. I see seed oils. I see less additives. I see less
Yeah.
stuff that's like weird ingredients that you're not aware of, things that are probably an issue in the United States, food dyes, this kind of stuff. But there's still plenty of garbage food. And if you go to the grocery store in Spain, even the nicer grocery stores, there's plenty of soda and garbage food. So it's
Okay, I'm sorry, but did you think that they didn't have sodas or just garbage and garbage, as he put it, just processed foods as in snacks and fast food? Of course they're gonna have this. It's a worldwide problem. I don't think any country doesn't have those things, even if they're the healthiest country on the planet, on Earth, the planet Earth. I would think, yes, of course they're gonna have some trash, because that's just the nature of living in the 21st century.
not surprising. I mean, people in Spain are still fat and unhealthy and diabetic. It's
Oh my
just
God.
that I think that the overall quality of the food here is probably a little bit better.
Yes.
And I'm curious to try some restaurants. So
It's about the processing.
you definitely don't get places like this cheese place in the US. So I have not given up hope finding some
you can.
really good quality food in Spain.
There are some artisanal cheeses and places that do this, but again, you have to travel and it's not everywhere.
And I'm still trying to figure out if the food is actually better in Europe and how. So we're gonna figure this out, guys. We're gonna keep going here. You guys, I made a movie. It's called Food for Humans, and I'm going on tour. 5 cities, 5 private screenings and red carpet events. New York, Chicago, Dallas, Phoenix, and Los Angeles. I wanna see you there. It's gonna sell out. Go to foodforhumans.com to watch the trailer and to buy tickets. I'll see you on tour in December, guys.
Have you been to any restaurants?
All right, we found it. I think they're open. Cows are right there.
What's up
Let's
with the
see.
bottles?
I'm gonna see if they'll give me some raw milk.
What's up with
I'm
the
gonna
raw
have to
milk?
milk it myself. I don't know. So we just got here. People here said they were open. I went over to that guy to get milk. He said, come over here, pay, and they were closed. So
Oh,
this is Spain, I guess. Have to come back. All right, guys. Attempt number 2 to get some raw milk in Mallorca. I'm back at the Formatages Borgera.
I don't understand the obsession with the raw milk. It's dangerous to have raw milk. It sometimes it can get you killed. That's all I'm gonna say.
The cows are over there. There's a cheese shop right there. Let's go see what we can do here. I'm determined
I'm scared.
to find some raw milk in Mallorca. Let's go.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do with it?
Perfecto. Okay, gracias. Okay, success.
Okay. This is wild to
One of the
me.
most interesting things about Europe is just all the side streets. I mean, there's just this little dirt side street. There's just this fruit growing everywhere. So we got some pomegranates growing right here. Cactus fruit. I mean, these are not very good. You get a lot of spines in your mouth, but
Well, but
it's so cool just exploring these little
you have to cut it. You're not gonna eat the whole thing completely.
side streets everywhere. And I don't know, Europe is just so different than the States.
Yes.
People live so differently here. The
Yes.
pace of life is totally
Correct.
different. It's super chill.
Yeah.
Even beyond the food, which is clearly higher quality when you're in these small towns and stuff. So I found a little market in a town called Saraco, a couple of kilometers from where I'm staying in Mallorca. And by little, I mean little. You can see basically you've got a few eggs, some cheese, some olives,
It's tiny.
some fruit
love it.
here, maybe some sausage, a little bit of olive oil and wine over there, and some produce. And then over here, we've got produce like figs, peaches, watermelons. This is the kind of stuff that seems like it's in season now. So
That's what I mean. I think that's gonna be better quality, and that's I'm gonna bet where the locals shop because it's better quality.
I'm gonna check it out. It's pretty cool though. These little Spanish towns are so quaint. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's just,
Yeah.
it feels like a movie set right now. It's crazy. But I do think that there's like, I guess there are farmers markets more and more in the States now. Every town that we go to,
Depends.
there is a farmer's market at least once a week. And so the farmer's market in Santa Elm, where I'm staying, was on Wednesday. And this is Saraco, which is 3 miles away. It's on Saturdays, and there's another one on this day. So like, it seems like in Spain and in Europe, you could find a farmer's market like this, like even a small one with local produce, almost every single day of the week. Can you tell me about the olives? Where are they from? Soyer.
Yeah.
¿Qué tipo de aceite?
Trencadas.
Trancadas.
Se llaman trencadas.
Ok. ¿Sabes qué comen esas caínas?
Y no sé, maíz.
But these are from a farmer,
Ajá.
and you can tell. I mean, I look at this. You got this still. Like it looks like it's a real egg. You know, it's still got.
Oh, yeah, I was about to ask, how do you know it's an egg that came? Well, yeah, because they're dirty. That's the thing. Yeah, they're organic. It was all from a local farm. They're still dirty.
Got the stuff on the outside. And where does this farmer live? Andrash.
Andratx.
And he brings them to you, or
Uh-huh.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And the sausages.
That's not sausages.
Oh, what's this?
His name is sobrasada.
Okay.
Oh.
Is do here in Mallorca.
Really?
Yeah.
What is inside? What is it? Pig. So it's
The-
pork intestines.
Yeah.
So this is goat cheese from Menorca. Menorca is a
other
smaller
island.
island northeast of Mallorca. And everyone here tells me that Menorca is for old people. It's like very chill. So I'll probably really like it because I'm pretty boring. So I got to go check out Menorca too. We didn't bring a case to put the eggs in. So This is living dangerously, guys. We're
Yes.
living on the edge here.
Yeah.
Gracias.
It's gonna be a
I'm gonna
mess.
get some queso semicurado artesano. Only thing in here is raw milk and salt. Cats are everywhere.
I don't know why I don't care about the raw cheese, but I do care about the raw milk.
All right, so this is like a fruit stand. Probably get a melon. They got all kinds of good stuff.
How many melons
peaches.
have gotten?
That is a cool looking melon. Hopefully it's good.
It's a cantaloupe.
Wow. This smells so good. This peach smells so good,
That's
but
a
I have to
giant
try it
peach.
right now.
Yeah, it looks good.
Let's see. That is quality.
Yeah, looks incredible. Looks delicious.
Wow.
Finally, he's at a restaurant. Okay, let's see the food. This is very, very pretty. I love it.
So we're gonna try some of the things I just got at that
Oh,
farmer's
he's
market.
not gonna eat.
These are the pear apples that are unique to Mallorca. So I don't know. Let's see. That's disappointing. I got way too many of those. It's like dry.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks legit. This has got to be better. This is good.
Is that a fake?
So, I don't usually dress like this, guys, but I'm gonna go check out a restaurant in Spain. It's like 7:45, so I don't think there's gonna be anybody in the restaurant because nobody goes out to dinner. I can
That
hear
early?
people, but
Yeah.
we go out to dinner here so late. Amazing thing about this,
It is early.
This is literally a 3-minute walk from where I'm staying on the ocean. I got some air dried steak back here. It's like backup just in case. You know, let's go check it out. So at the restaurants,
What?
I always
What?
ask, just what do you cook in, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not going to use seed oils here because they're just cooking straight on a grill. When I come to a restaurant, I'm boring. I'm just going to get a steak. But if you guys want to get more complicated food, your
Well,
immune system tolerates that. I'm jealous. Look for things that are not cooked in seed oils. They said they put a little bit of olive oil on the grill. That's
Yeah.
it. So the grill is like really safe, I think. And then I
going to Spain and just eating a steak, I think that's crazy to me, but
got
okay.
a grilled tenderloin. We got steak tartare, and we got a burrata
So much meat.
with some tomatoes and stuff underneath. I'm gonna try and like just eat the cheese. Tomatoes trigger my eczema. If you guys can eat
Oh,
tomatoes, I'm
okay.
jealous, but we're
Yes.
gonna see how it goes.
That's bad. You can't have the tomatoes.
I could live on that.
Okay.
It's a little dangerous.
It's going to be delicious. I can tell.
Super good.
Yeah,
Super good.
of course.
Doing
Even
great
better
so
with
far.
tomato.
Pretty
Right.
good stuff. 3 minutes from my Airbnb. I go mid-rare on the steaks. Sometimes I even go rare. Let's see.
It's going to be good, I guess.
Great flavor. On like the real grill. Amazing. I'm happy. I don't usually go to restaurants, but I'm doing great.
Okay.
I don't even need to eat the lineage I brought as like a backup. I'm good.
Going to a restaurant and having a packed whatever that is, that seems crazy to me. Especially on vacation. What are you doing?
That's gonna stay for tomorrow on the hike. We got the dessert menu. I'm gonna skip dessert.
Yeah, of
We're
course.
gonna get dessert. They have strawberries with mascarpone. So
That's
I would eat
good.
fruit with some cheese. I would do that. I'm also curious what's in the ice cream. I know that in Europe,
Well,
a lot of times the gelato has like actual egg yolks and it's much
Yeah.
better than the States. I try to avoid the processed sugar as much as possible, but I generally skip dessert or I eat a piece of fruit with some cream and honey. That's how I would make dessert. All right, I had to show you guys the dessert that I'm not going to
yeah, but you're not a restaurant, you're on vacation. This is your real life. You should go for it. Go and have the tasty desserts.
eat, but it looks pretty cool. It's like an apple tart with vanilla ice cream and popcorn. I'm good. It's just my brain doesn't do this, guys. Like I know that, you know, it's okay to have this every once in a while. It's not
Yeah.
gonna kill me, but the food adventures in Spain continue. Out. So
I'm glad he knows. I know that this is a little crazy because, yes, of course, you can have it every once in a while. It's not going to kill you.
Came to this town called Soller. Look at the mountains out there. Amazing. It's in the northern coast of Mallorca. And I'm in search of like the best olive oils on the island. I've heard they have good olive oil. And I'm trying to learn
Yes.
about the different varieties of olive oil in Mallorca. There's a ton. And they really take their olive oil seriously. It's kind of like Italy. They do not mess around with their olive oil
Yes.
here at all. And so
It's a Spanish thing. They love their olive oil. They're famous for it. Everything's cooked in olive oil. All the dishes have to olive oil. So yes, they're famous for it. You're going to get extremely good quality olive oil over there.
let's see if we can find some good olive oils.
Yes.
Some other good produce here, but As you guys can see, like just everybody is walking around the town. There's so many cool little side streets where you can walk, and people are just enjoying, and there's restaurants that are all outdoors. People are obviously getting infrared radiation when you're outdoors, which is good. Infrared light. And every restaurant serves olive oil. Like olive oil is the go-to in Spain.
Yes, it's a staple.
As opposed to seed oils. So we got some, looks like very high quality olive oil from Soyer. It has this like DO sticker that's like it's like a denominación de origin, that like with olives it really matters where the olives come from. It's actually from right here if it's from Soyer.
It's regulated.
And you can see the color. You can see how green that olive oil is. I'm gonna get some small ones and show you guys what the color of this olive oil actually is.
Yeah, I'm guessing I'm gonna get this gallon of olive oil back home.
But I would never buy olive oil like in plastic like this.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. It's better in glass, but whatever.
And even something like this is unfortunately...
Or yeah, in cans. They also come in cans.
Not great because it's in a tin that's lined with plastic. So anything oil
but it's super normal.
plastic, you're going to get a lot of those plastic particles, plastic compounds, BPA, BPS, going into the plastic. So when it comes to olive oil...
Do they have BPAs in that particular kind of plastic? I know that some plastic are BPA free. I do not know if this is the case for this.
I'm always thinking about glass, opaque glass.
Yeah.
What I've learned about olive oil being here in Spain is that they harvest the olives once a year. Apparently they do it in like October. So we're not to that olive harvest. So all of this olive oil is from last year's harvest. It's from 2024. And if I were here in October, I could get the new harvest. But this is all like the one time of year they're harvesting. And I think what's cool about this is you can get
but it's still incredible. It's not bad.
these single source olives. So they're not mixing. And when you don't have mixed olive oil, it's single source, you have a much higher quality olive oil and much lower potential that it's going to be cut with seed oils. A lot of olive oil we get in the States is cut with seed oils.
Really?
I'm going to guess this isn't. This is interesting. They have some pasta here. And I think the pasta is different in Spain and Europe and Italy. This is basically a wheat pasta, which is organic, is what it says. And I think that if you look at this, like the type of wheat, the lineage of the wheat is different in Europe. And I think this is a big reason that people find it easier to tolerate. In a lot of places in Europe, in a lot of municipalities, they don't use glyphosate and other pesticides. This is an organic wheat. And I think, so hopefully they're not using any pesticides on it, but I think that a lot of people find they can come to Italy or Spain, like Mallorca, and eat pasta like this because it's of a different variety of wheat, different lineage than the States. So it's less immunogenic or something. So this is interesting. A lot of people probably can do wheat if it's fermented like a sourdough or if it's something good quality like this. Some of us probably have immune systems that can't handle this at all, but this is a totally different type of pasta than you can get in the States for sure. I'm gonna pause the video for 1 second. If you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, you wanna know about the differences in US food and European food, all the science around pesticides and additives and why you can feel good in Europe and not in the US, I put all this stuff into my newsletter every Sunday. I do different topics every week, but it's a free newsletter. I'll talk about the risks of raw milk, whether it's worth drinking or not. I've talked about acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, and autism. I've talked about cholesterol. I've talked about 5 fake health foods. So sign up. I'll put a link here and down below in the description for my free newsletter every Sunday, where you can get what I'm thinking about, kind of cutting edge scientific stuff on top of my mind. I'll see you guys in their free newsletter on Sunday. Back to the video in Spain.
I love it. It's so gorgeous. The streets are beautiful. Wow. What were those?
The trip in Mallorca is coming to an end. I wanted to kind of summarize some of the things that I've learned here about food in Mallorca. I don't know if this is representative of the food everywhere in Europe, but this was my first shot at this question. I think this question gets asked a lot. Why do I feel better in Europe when I'm eating? Why do I feel better in Spain or Italy or France than I do in the United States? Why can I eat pizza or pasta or bread in these countries and feel fine, or desserts, pastries, and not feel great in the United States when I do those things? What I've noticed about being here is that overall, at least on Majorca, and I explored a lot of this island over the last 2 weeks, the food quality here is far and away better than the United States in general. I went to little corner grocery stores, not so great. We saw that at the beginning of the video. I went to bigger grocery stores, which had all kinds of stuff. That ham was incredible. And then there were little specialty shops that had more of the organic stuff, which they call eco or bio. On this little island, I guess this is a self-sustained little agricultural hub, there's plenty of organic produce. Organic peaches are in season now. I got a lot of organic melons, but there definitely were a lot of local vegetables. I saw lettuce and cucumbers, which I ate. There were avocados. I think it's all grown on the island.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it is, at least. And when I went to the market in the little town near here, Sirocco, that was really cool because that farmer had driven maybe an hour with the stuff from his farm, and he had everything. He had so much stuff. That part of the trip was probably one of my favorite parts. It was just so cool to see all the stuff that he'd brought. All the dialects here are a little tricky because I speak Spanish. Being in Costa Rica, my Spanish isn't perfect. Formatages.
But it's not Spanish
from
Spain.
You get Catalan here, and then you get Mallorquin, which is even different than Catalan. So sometimes it's hard to understand people, but I do my best. But that was really cool to meet him, and the peaches that I had from him were out of this world.
They looked incredible.
So the food quality here is very good. And I think that a lot of the foods that people like to eat as junk foods in the States are probably a little bit better here because of the flowers. I think that a lot of the local municipalities are not using glyphosate, though glyphosate is still legal in Spain at least. And I think that the wheat is a different type of wheat here. It's a different heritage wheat. It's an older type of wheat, so maybe that's a big deal. I think there are less preservatives here, although there are still some.
Yeah.
If you look at ingredient labels from Spain or from Europe in general versus the US, there definitely are less things allowed here in Europe. I've talked about this in the past. If you look at the list of ingredients in the United States that have been introduced into our food supply through the GRAS, the GRAS standards, it's 5,000 to 6,000, maybe 7,000. It's only 400 to 500 in Europe. So there are a lot of chemicals that are used in our food in the States as preservatives, as fillers, as gums, as binders. I think that makes a big difference. Even when you're looking at kind of like junk foods like cookies or something. The meat here was incredible, generally speaking. I got this steak at the grocery store and it was like orange. I mean, the fat was orange. So this is at this local grocery store called Veritas, which is like their boutique organic grocery store.
I don't know, meat probably
you don't see a lot of meat in the States, even grass-fed meat with fat that's that orange. That is really suggestive. These cows are eating a lot of beta carotene in the grass. One thing to mention about the eggs in Europe, or at least in Majorca and Spain, I think it's most of Europe, they don't refrigerate them here because the governments don't allow them to clean off the protective coating of the eggs.
Yeah.
When you refrigerate eggs and you pull them in and out of the fridge, that can cause condensation. And if that protective coating on the shell has been removed, that can cause bacteria, potentially salmonella or Campylobacter to transit into the egg from the shell. Generally, eggs should be sterile. So if you don't do that, if you leave the coating on the egg, your egg doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Exactly.
It's crazy to see it here, but they're not even refrigerated.
No.
And that is apparently lowering the risk of foodborne illness because of the bacterial transit through the eggshells. And you can get organic eggs or like their bio-eco eggs, but the eggs that I got at that farmer's market from that local farmer who had brought them, you guys saw me talk to that guy and he said, I don't know, he just brings us the eggs.
Yeah.
Those were some of the most orange yolks I've seen. And I don't think this is like the States where they're feeding them, you know, funky marigold flowers to make the yolks fake orange. So those were really high quality eggs. So, I mean, none of this is stuff you couldn't figure out in the States, right? If you had local farmers in the US and you went to your local farmers, you could get things like you can here in Europe. I think if you want to eat bread, if you feel good with bread, I don't, but if you do, ferment the bread like a sourdough and use a heritage wheat like an einkorn wheat and get something that's organic, you might be able to duplicate what's going on in Europe and use foods with less ingredients without these funky ingredients. I always think of this rule, like if your great grandmother wouldn't recognize an ingredient on that label, why are you eating it? So that's the great grandmother rule. If it fails the great grandmother rule, don't eat it, guys. Don't eat it. It's horrible. So I think if you do that, you're getting closer to food in Europe in general, less additives. When I was eating at cafes here, they only had olive oil on the table. It's a common thing. The way that olive oil is really appreciated here is on food. It's on salads. It's on bread. There's like bread with oil here. That's a dish. PreadyMed study suggests maybe an unprocessed extra virgin olive oil, early harvest. That could be beneficial for humans because some of these polyphenols might affect the gut flora positively. And apparently it's 500 milligrams per ml. That's the cutoff you want for polyphenols. But don't cook with your olive oil. You lose probably most of the benefits if you do that. You can look for olive oils that have been tested, 500 milligrams or more per ml of polyphenols. I don't have any of the data on the 3 olive oils that I looked at here, but I'll show you guys this little video I made Of course, while I was making the video, I spilled some of the oil on the napkin, so it looks horrible because I'm filming it myself. I thought maybe the olive oils would look different in terms of color. They all look pretty much the same, but they had a little bit different taste. So the olive oil on the far left is one that I got.
Okay.
All of these I got in Soyer. I showed you guys that video. And it says it's Gran Selección, Denominación, Origin, meaning it's like a single source, so they know exactly where it's coming from, which is supposed to be great. But when I took a shot of that olive oil, I didn't really taste much in my back of my throat. It wasn't as like burnt.
Taking a shot of olive oil, that seems extreme.
In the back of my throat. Next to the middle one was pretty good. And the last one on the right, which has the cool label and says La Cura, my friends actually gave me that one here. I met a guy here who's a fan. I did find raw milk on Mallorca. It was very hard to find. Like you saw, I had to go twice. It was pretty crazy. I mean, the cows are there. And then he had this stainless steel vat of milk that he'd milked in the morning, and he just gave it to me in glass jars. It was €2 a liter, which is whatever, like a little less than $3 a liter. Not cheap, but you could definitely get, it's cheaper than milk in the States.
Yeah.
And I got it fresh from that morning on the farm. They also had cheese, which was pretty good too. So there's more of this artisanal stuff in Europe, or at least on Mallorca. Again, all of this is kind of qualified just for my trip on Mallorca, but I think that what I found here, from what I understand, translates to the rest of Europe. If it doesn't, please let me know, guys, in the comments, and I'll do more research on this. But this trip was just a couple weeks in Mallorca. So in general, I think the food quality is better here. There are less additives. There's more opportunity to get artisanal stuff. I did not find a bakery. I know you guys wanted to see me eat bread.
Yeah, what about the bread?
But I did not eat bread. But I went to a restaurant for you guys. The bread that they served us in the restaurant was just flour and water and salt. It didn't have the folic acid added to the flours, which is a big problem I have. If you're eating a bread and it has folic acid in the ingredients, you don't want that bread, because folic acid is not a form of folate that occurs in nature. Folic acid is a synthetic form of folate that has to be turned into dihydrofolate, tetrahydrofolate in your body, which is dihydrofolate reductase. That enzyme can get saturated. Then you have unmetabolized folic acid in your body. Higher levels of unmetabolized folic acid are associated with issues in kids, behavioral issues, developmental issues in kids, and they could potentially block the actions of folate, usable folate, bioavailable folate at the receptor in your body. So you don't want folic acid in your supplements, in your bread, any of these things. I think that basically everything that you find that's good about food in Europe, you could do in the States if you're just more intentional about the food you're eating. Seek out the best quality meat, grass-fed, grass-finished, regeneratively raised. If you need
just less processed in general
snacks, we got you covered at Lineage. And you guys better believe I brought my heart and soil to Europe with me, because it was hard to find testicles here. So I was glad that I had my whole package, heart and soil supplement.
Okay.
You can go to farmers, you can go to other places and get higher quality meat. And if you can find meat and the fat is orange, you know those cows are good cows. If you're getting raw milk, you're probably connected with a farmer. Raw milk is kind of this small economy. So you're closer to the farmer. I think the closer you get to the farmer, the higher quality your food gets. And that's maybe a little easier in Europe, or at least it was in Mallorca. Eat organic produce. And if you're eating food with labels, only eat food with ingredients on those labels that your great-grandmother would recognize. That's really how you can make your food in the States a lot like more of the food in Europe. If you guys want to come to Mallorca, this isn't a travel blog, but I'll tell you everything about what I did. I came to Mallorca. I stayed in this little town called Sant Elm. It's a great little spot. It's on the southwest side of the island. There were local farmers markets, and it's about 45 minutes west of Palma, which is a big city. Now, Mallorca is a bigger island than I thought. And if you want to go to a lot of the cool stuff, you have to drive like an hour and a half to get there. So I don't know if I would have stayed somewhere else if I were to come back to Mallorca, but this is a really cool little town that I loved. I hope to come back to Europe. I want to visit other Balearic islands. I want to go to Ibiza, which is a fun word to say. There's an island to the east of Mallorca called Menorca. There's an island called Formentera. Everything here is just so quaint and so cool. Like, the Europeans also do other things. Like, they have to walk to take out the trash, and they're always walking. It's just a walking culture here. And
Americans also need to walk to take out their trash. They're not living in garbage.
They're enjoying life. They sit in cafes. They spend time with each other. It's a very interesting thing. All these things, I'm sure, play into the experience, and you really can't understand it until you get to Europe. So I think I'm really going to feel the culture shock when I go back to the States. And I won't be there long because I'm going to get back to Costa Rica, which is my favorite place right now still. So that's all for this video, guys. If you're curious about my other adventures in Spain, check out the video I did about the blood cleaning procedure I did while I was here. It's called inisphoresis. So one of the big reasons I came to Spain was that I got a blood cleaning procedure. It's like TPE. It's like total plasma exchange. But I think it's better than plasma exchange. It's going to be available in the US in 2026 once the FDA approves it.
What would you need your blood
video
cleaned?
Is going to be coming out soon. So you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, I have a big hematoma here because I had these big IVs in my arms 2 days of last week. to get this blood cleaning procedure. So pretty interesting stuff. You can watch that video. I'm generally not a biohacker, but I've accumulated, 48 years of toxins being a human on the earth, and I'm really curious
your body
to see
flushes those out for you.
what was in my plasma that they filtered out. So in innisphoresis, you don't get any plasma transfusion, you just get filtering of the plasma. They take the blood out of your body, they separate it from the plasma, they filter the plasma, and they put it all back in. It's pretty crazy. You guys should definitely go check out the innisphoresis video. That's it for today. I'm going back to the States and then to Costa Rica. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please check out our sponsors, Lineage Provisions, Heart and Soil Supplements. Again, all through this trip, Lineage meat sticks, Lineage air-dried steak, saved my butt, best for traveling, and Heart and Soil makes it super easy to bring organs with you everywhere. So check those guys out. Appreciate their support for what I'm doing. And I love you guys, and I'll see you later.
Okay, well, this is a very interesting video. I think this man lives his life in a very particular way, which obviously that's his prerogative, and it's very different. I think it's a bit of, I don't know, I do like what he said about a lot of the things that about food in general. I think he does make a great point about how Americans can and should, I think, be eating a little bit healthier, especially if they want to make like changes in their lives. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it, and yes, eating a little bit better and having healthier diet habits. Yes, of course. I do think there's a way to, and I do like the old his advice. Yes, try to. I think he went a little extreme when he went, oh, ingredients your great grandma wouldn't recognize. Well, yeah, I get what you mean. We should all probably eat less processed. However, I think, yeah, well, your great grandma lived in a very different environment and life than you. So I think it's a little weird to compare yourself to your great grandma or great grandparents, whatever, just because, yes, their food was different, the food quality was different, but you know what they were back in those days? Also, there was a lot of people, they didn't have really good nutrition. So I don't know why we should be advocating those kind of, I don't know, behaviors. It's just their diet. Just because they are, it was something that's a little bit older, doesn't necessarily mean it's better. Because again, yes, great, they eat less processed, because obviously they didn't really have processed foods back in those days. However, again, they tend to be, the malnutrition exists, and a lot of, newsflash, a lot of your great grandparents also suffer from that. Also, that's why a lot of the people way back in those and older people tend to be a little, they didn't really grow to a lot of a bigger height, because again, nutrition was just not as good as we have it these days. So even though there are some things that, yes, I'm not telling, oh well, you should definitely eat processed foods every single day of your life. No, of course not. It's like he said, just try to recognize what you're eating. I think that's obviously a really good way to begin. Recognize if you're eating processed foods, just read the labels and see what you're actually putting on your body. I think that's a great way to start. Also, try to eat less dyes, try to eat less, again, more organic. I do like what he said about not the raw milk, but just about talking to your provider of eggs, milk, whatever. I know that that's not a possibility for everyone in the US, just because, again, it just depends a lot on where you live. Can you buy maybe at local farmer markets? Yes. If it's within your possibilities and it's not that far away from where you live, of course, it's going to be better. It's less processed. And you're eating more farm to table, which I think it's good. I do know that up to a certain extent, that's not the reality and the possibility for a lot of people. But as try to do those little changes as much as you can. And yes, absolutely. I do think, again, that you can get this to the extreme, which I think it's a little bit where you're losing me a little bit. Like, I can't believe that he went to Spain and he wasn't eating all the incredible great food they have over there just because he's worried about, and the seed oils and the other, I can't remember all it gets a little fear mongering, which I don't really like that much, because again, you need to be conscious, but you also need to have a little bit of a balance. And it's okay. You're not eating all those cookies every single day of your life. It's okay. You're trying to eat as healthy as possible, as less produced as possible, and you're eating at home as much as possible. But if you're traveling and technically it was a work trip, I understand. It's not necessarily, I'm on vacation, I'm just staying on a beach. Yeah, but you're on vacation, you're traveling. The idea is for you to know and to learn new things and new dishes and new cultures. So why wouldn't you try it? I'm not going to be worried if I go to a restaurant if I were in his position in this particular trip, I wouldn't be worried about what they're putting on. Oh, the restaurant uses seed oils, or what's in the bread. I wouldn't really care, to be honest, because again, it's something that I know that I'm doing, and it's gonna be just once a year, and probably I'm not gonna go back every year. So even that, no, who cares? And if you're going out to eat at a restaurant, it's probably not something that you're doing every single day of your life. Yeah, you're doing this once a couple of times a month. It's okay. It's not gonna kill you, unless obviously you have some sort of allergy or some sort of food intolerance and does really go well with but whatever. It's like, oh, my tomatoes trigger my eczema. Okay, well, yeah, of course, do not eat the tomatoes. But the other things, I'm a little bit, okay, you need to calm down. That's how I feel, because again, I think you should be able to enjoy the other things in life. And you should take care of your body. Of course, we all want to be healthy. But I think there's a way to lead a more balanced lifestyle, and that goes for both extremes. You don't want to go the overall end of, yes, everything, and I'm constantly worrying about every single thing I'm putting on my body. And you don't want to go to the other extreme of, I don't have a care about whatever. It's like, give me everything. I don't really care what's in this. No, I think you should I think the important part about this is to lead a more balanced lifestyle and diet, and lead a more balanced lifestyle, and yes, and diet. So I think it's a little fear mongering. I'm not going to be worried about, oh, well, the weird components in the fertilizers that I don't know, the cows are using, or the people, I don't know, what's in what they're feeding the cows, or what is the pesticides. Yes, of course, again, you should worry about this and you should read up on this, but it's not to the point of, I will not have this because I'm worried. It's like, it's okay. It's not, I promise you're going to be okay. And again, because part of life is also trying to enjoy life as much as possible. I think it does get in your brain, and I think it really does hinder your capacity to enjoy life. Not always, it depends on your personality, but I do think there's a way to get this to the extremes, and I don't know if that's a great piece of advice for everyone, just because, again, for some people, this is not going to work because you're going to get all in your head. It's going to be like, no, absolutely not. I will just not eat anything, because you're going to be constantly worried everything's going to be bad for you eventually. So you can't cook on this particular material, and you can't have this, because so you're just not eating anything, basically. So and if you're starting to get all the vitamins, and this isn't absorbent, I know it's a little bit of craziness, and I know the point is to be healthy, but to also enjoy life in a healthy way. And in order to do that, you need balance. And you know what? Sadly, at the end of the day, well, it's not sadly, it's just a way of life. Eventually, we're all gonna age, we're all gonna die. So, you can try to live your life as much as possible. But if you're trying to prevent aging or to decrease, I don't want to live forever, but maybe I want to live a little bit longer. It's newsflash, you're gonna die anyway, and you're gonna age anyway. So I think that's what you should lead a more balanced lifestyle. But again, just take a few things from this, take a few things from that, and try to meet in the middle. That would be my advice. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.